The movie I chose for this week's review is Tyler Perry's Temptation: Confessions of a Marriage Counselor, starring Jurnee Smollett-Bell, Lance Gross, Vanessa Williams, and Kim Kardashian. Judith, played by Jurnee Smollett-Bell, is a country girl who marries her childhood sweetheart Bryce, played by Lance Gross, and moves with him to the city. Working at a dating service, she meets Harley, a young, handsome, multi-million-dollar programmer. Her relationship with Harley strengthens and leads to divorce and forever alters the course of her life. In order for me to give a full review of Temptation, Confessions of a Marriage Counselor, I have to spoil the ending here, guys. I just feel it's necessary to discuss this movie as a whole and to do this review, so spoiler warnings from the get-go. At the end of the film, we discover that Harley is an extremely violent man, and there is a violent beating of Judith. Bryce rushes to her rescue and violently beats up Harley. The film then jump cuts ahead in time. We see Bryce is now married to another woman with children, and Judith is single and is battling with AIDS. The last 20 minutes of the film is a real left turn, so much so it put many viewers off. The biggest thrust of complaints is that the film further stigmatizes the disease of AIDS. This film has many themes and images from the Old Testament. Tyler Perry draws many religious themes throughout the whole film that's woven throughout it. When Judith is with Bryce, we see a very loving and hard-working family with all the problems and joy of lower class to middle class life. But once Judith is tempted, we see the film spiral into a more beautiful upper class world, but filmed to look more sinister. As the temptation grows, the more Judith spirals down this path of darkness. There is a scene where Bryce finds out that Judith is spending the night at Harley's house, so he rushes to get her and finds that they are having a big house party, and the staging of the scene has very dark lights, really sexy people in revealing clothes, and drugs and alcohol. Tyler Perry obviously wants to emphasize that the couple is now living in a house of sin. Judith explains that she wants to feel alive, that she doesn't want a good guy, she wants a phenomenal guy. The aspect the film takes is that it punishes Judith for failure at marriage and her inability to accept mediocrity, and her punishment for this is really brutal. She gets beat up by the man she cheats with, and then she gets AIDS. I feel like it's a real big left turn, and it really does polarize audiences. Tyler Perry does show some really terrific skill in this movie. His background in stage directing is really apparent here. The harder scenes to film are simple dialogue scenes just between two people, and the key element of this movie is the drama, and Tyler Perry really gets that down. Like, he's very, very solid at directing a lot of the key elements of drama in this movie. A lot of the dialogue scenes were really engaging. Some key dramatic moments, he plays it out with no dialogue at all, just the actors acting it out and a heavy song playing in the background. It almost harkens back to the old classic masters of silent cinema, where you just have the actors play out the scene without the support of sound and dialogue. I gotta say, Tyler Perry has some really impressive skill as a director here. The film is populated with ridiculously good-looking people. The two main leads, Lance Gross and Robbie Jones, are freaking shredded. Jurnee Smollett-Bell is an absolute knockout, and of course there's Kim Kardashian, who plays the snobby co-worker. I think what Tyler Perry was going for was Emily Blunt's character in The Devil Wears Prada. Now, Kim Kardashian is nowhere near the quality of acting as Emily Blunt, and a lot of people were heavily in the criticism towards Kim Kardashian, but to be honest, I didn't find her distracting at all. She just played a friend at the workplace, and I think people are just upset about the name of Kim Kardashian being associated with the movie, but she wasn't bad at all. She wasn't distracting. She was just there in the workplace. So I don't get what the criticism, anything about the criticism. Overall, I have to say I really enjoyed Tyler Perry's Temptation. I wish there were more movies on African Americans. I haven't seen too many, and I think that's a huge fault of Hollywood. Granted, the last 10 minutes were very polarizing, where all of a sudden it takes that quick left turn and absolutely punishes the main character. You're just like, what? After you're going through this long journey. But I really loved the African American cast. I think they were all absolutely terrific, and I want more. I want to see more movies about African Americans and done by African American directors, because this movie was really interesting, very well acted, and I really enjoyed the story. It was a very solid film, so I highly recommend it. If you can get a chance, get yourself Tyler Perry's Temptation. Again, the last 10 minutes might be a bit jarring for you, just be like, what? But it's actually a very solid movie.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Check out our podcast at www.podmeifyoucan.com.